Hi, hello friends, what's up? This is your Vijaya tutorial. Today topic is the networking switches. What are the switching? Is requirement of this networking, computer networking? How many types of switching are is toward the networking work? And what are the types of switches are used to the networking switching purpose? Hello friends, welcome to back my channel Vijaya tutorial point. Today topic is the switching techniques. The what are the networking switching techniques? First, there are three types of switches are given this: circuit switching, mesh switching, and pocket switching. This first, what are the switching techniques in computer network? The switching techniques is computer network are method and the routing and data from one node to another node. There are three main types of circuit switching: message switching and pocket switching. Switching is the techniques in the determine how data is transmitted over networking impact efficiency bandwidth utilizing. The first explanation of this circuit switching. This is established decide to continue connection between the sender and receiver to the duration of the transmission. Think like a telephone calls where direct lines is set up before your data can be sent. Routing decisions made in front of remain constant duration of connections. Example, this traditional telephone networking. The message switching. This is the transmission entire message from node and node to without established dedicated connection. The each message is transmitted independently with receiving node responsible for assembling the compatibility message. Less certification, less efficiency circuits. Switching for real-time application due to deal in associated with the message transmission. For example, in dedicated connection efficiency for continuous data streaming, message switching, entire message less efficiency real-time applications. The pocket switching. This pocket switching is variable traffic and the basis of the internet. Why is switching important is computer network? The switching important of the computer networking is the purpose of switching provide and connection between the node and the networking without any need for single connection between each pair of the node. Therefore, the required switching technology that provide the mechanism to establish connectivity as to and when required. Hi friends. What is the networking switching and what is it used? This networking switches is a topology networking switches connection the router. Any device within the networking plug into the switch using the Ethernet cable. Networking switching function at the data link layer 2 and OSI open system interconnection. 7-layer module standardized networking protocol. It is used the MAC address to specify which is ports to send data packets that send into data to device. This is the switches are the managed switch, unmanaged switch, smart switch, PoE switch, and layer 2 and layer 3 switches. The managed switch. This managed switch used hundreds of configuration operation, making them perfect for the enterprise use. Complex configuration methods mean networking administrations and managed switches use the command row lines in interface CLI. Unmanaged switch, like a managed switch, unmanaged switch are the most basic network switches. They produce the small LAN. They have two configuration options. The mostly group pieces or networking devices. On networking little customized, there are the cheapest networking switch and provide simple networking solution. The smart switch. The smart switch provide more automated and configuration than managed switches, and the normally come with some customized features such as virtual LAN, VLAN, services settings, configuration to the graphic interface, GUI. The PoE switches. This PoE switches is Ethernet switches. Cables also contained in copper wire to send power to data in same cable. Switch can be the power other device connected to. Additional devices need to power. PoE switches can do that, but IoT devices do not require power in this way. Non-PoE switches are less expensive. The layer 2 is layer 3 switches. The layer 2 switches is the kind of switches articles has discussed thus far. Switches is multiple bit hardware devices send data packets into device with MAC address. They move data packets from one to another VLANs and while required for connection router can be pockets. The layer 3 switches. This layer 3 switches some of routing capability. They don't have all complex routing protocols such as OSPF and BGP and EIGRP with a large number of ports found topically. Layer 2 switches or layer 3 switches increasing routing speed and manage the traffic better. The another question is the advantages of disadvantages of this networking switches. First, advantages. The networking switches optimize networking bandwidth and creating connection between every device into the networking. Then reduce the networking connections only sending data packets device MAC address listed header, and since switch is learning the MAC address of the device connection source, they lower than the latency packets transmission. Switching is improved security networking managed since the networking administrator. The disadvantages of switchings. The networking switches are required understanding networking fundamentals properly. The setup is managed as the networking number of switches are grows of the does challenging managing maintain the networking. Switches are face security issues and the networking is sufficient not a configure properly, leading the networking vulnerabilities of congestion. The networking switches typically require the hardware updates since older switches may not be supported new networking. The advantages, the manage them. The disadvantage, protocol and technologies. The advantages, the networking switches are scalable and cost efficiency, hardware components for growing networking that need to spread. The disadvantage, more switching, the ports of increasing energy cost. What is switching computer networking? Class 12. This is the class 12 is the pocket switching computer networking. It is the key features I will tell you. The pocket switching. Data is divided into smaller and variable length of unit called pockets. Independent transmission. Each pocket transmits independently, the meaning they can travel through the networking using different paths. Reassemble at the destination of the pockets are the reassembled in the correct order. Reconstruction organized data. Connectionless. Pocket switching is a connectionless method, the meaning to dedicated path in established between the sender and receiver before data transfer. How it is working, the pocket switching. Data segmentation. This data segmentation to be transmitted to divide into the small pockets of the data spaces. The pocket addressing. Second option, this pocket addressing, each pocket is sending the header constantly information like the source and destination address as well as the sequence number. The third point of independent routing. The pockets are routing independent throughout the network based on the available path in the networking conditions. The fourth point is the reassemble. At the destination, the pockets receiving and reassembling in the correct order to the reconstruction the original data. The advantage of pocket switching: efficiency, resource utilizations. The networking resources are shared documentally along multiple users to share networking simultaneous flexibility of this pocket switching. The pocket switching can take the different routers, making the networking more resistant to failures. The scalability of the pocket switching. The pocket switching is the networking scalable and can handle large volume of the traffic. The cost efficiency of the pocket switching. The pocket switching is the generally more cost efficiency than circuit switching. What are the disadvantages of pocket switching? The potential delay: the pocket switching is the experience delay due to the networking congestion routing issues. The pocket loss: the pocket may be lost during the transmission due to the networking errors. The security curve: the pocket can be interrupted into the module field of the during a transmission, posing security risks. The complexity of this pocket switching. This pocket switching networking can be complexity to manage and troubleshoot. The connecting devices. Switching act as a central hub and connecting the computer, server, printer, and other networking within a LAN via the layer 2 operations. Unlike a router which is operated layer 3 or layer 2 networking, and switch operated in layer 2 and data link layer and other OS modules layers. The what are the MAC address layer? The switch learn to the MAC address of the connected devices, store them the table MAC address table to the efficiency towards the forward the data pockets. The data pocket switching. The switching use pockets and the methods of where data is broken into small pockets and forwarding based on this destination MAC address. Unicast, multicast, broadcast. What are the unicast? The switch support unicast. 1 to 1 is the unicast. Multicast is 1 to many is the multicast, and broadcast 1 to all is the communication. This is the difference of unicast and multicast and broadcast. Once again, I will repeat it. This unicast means switch to support 1 to 1 device. This is the unicast. Multicast is the 1 to many. This is the multicast switch. The broadcast switch is the 1 to all. This is a communication purpose. This is the broadcasting switch. The improving networking performance. The learning to strong MAC address switches can directly traffic the specified destination ports, reducing the networking congestion, improving performance compared to older hubs. The full duplex. What are the full duplex? The many modem switches operate at full duplex mode, allowing the simultaneously transmitted and repetition of the data at the same link, further improving networking performance. What are switching techniques? The circuit switches. The concept of the circuit switches. The concept of the circuit switches. The established dedicated physical connection between the sender and receiver. That before data transmission, think of the phone call. The path of establishment between the two phones, and that is the path of remain excludes the duration of the call. The characteristic of the circuit switching. The guaranteed data rate and their lower latency if you connection established quickly but less efficiency time. The bandwidth utilizing in the connections, receiving even then your data is being transmitted. The example of traditional telephone networking in the pocket switching. The concept of this divide data, similar pockets each carry orders and information than the transmission. These pockets independent across the networking pocket may be taken different router through the networking. The characteristics: the more efficient bandwidth utilizations, resources shared among the multiple pocket, high latency due to the routing decisions. Each pockets can be more susceptible to delay to the pocket loss. Subtype: the datagram switching. Each pocket is treated independently with the routing decisions made for each pocket. Virtual circuit switching. This established virtual connections similarly to circuit switching but without dedicated physical path. Before data transmission offering guaranteed data rate and order. The message switching. This message switching is the concept of the transmission entire the message from the one node to another node without breaking to the smaller pockets. This is the message switching. Characteristics of the message switching. This characteristic of this message switching is the more suitable situation where your entire message are short and arrive regular in interval. The example of early telex systems. Please subscribe our video tutorial channel and please share, please like, please comment, please ask the any networking related questions. Thank you, video tutorials. Thank you once again.